So accept the little pop-up on your screen so that you know anything you do or say can be used against, no, just kidding. We're not going to be doing anything crazy like that. But I am super excited to be doing this call tonight because what's really cool about it is I get to be with one of my good friends, Miss Jess Gillis there. You'll see her, I don't know, she's right here to me. So, but she is way on the other side of the country. And I think that is one of the most beautiful parts about this business is that people that you would have never in a million years most likely cross paths with become some people that you literally get to like, you know, bond with, share goals, dreams, all these different things with. So I'm actually going to have Jess started off. And our whole intention of this, you guys, is to not come in here and talk about all these like wild things that you sometimes hear in when people are talking about a business like this, because we do, and Jess and I were talking about it, and we fully believe that, like, you know, we believe that we were that like average person sitting at the screen to push accept, right? And we know we've kind of had those different things. So I'm going to actually let Jess take it away and go with her, like why she pushed accept. We're going to jump into a little bit about the company. Jess is a hairstylist, so she's going to talk a little bit about products and why they are super fantastic. And then I'll share a little bit with you about why I pushed accept and my favorite thing, which is the compensation plan a little bit. So take it away, Jess.
Thank you. I love this. And it's so awesome because Kat was like messaged me last night and she's like, do you want to come and jump on a call with me? And I'm like, yeah. We didn't really even have like a specific plan or anything about it. And that's the beauty of it. Is like tonight we just want to share the simple idea of why we decided to join this business and not complicate anything. And the goal is not to convince anyone really. It's just to kind of share with you who we were at the time and why it was so important for us to make that decision. And I love this because a lot of people, I don't know, it's easy to say no. It's easy to tell yourself, you know, I'm not in the right place right now. I don't have the time. I don't have the money, maybe later. And it's easy to convince ourselves that there will be a better time to do this type of business. And for me, the reason why I accepted was basically just because of my situation at the time. Like literally no one has ever said anything perfect to convince me. Like there was not a perfect sale for me to join. There was literally nothing at all other than the fact that my situation was making me unhappy. And I realized and I accepted the fact that if I wasn't going to change something at the time, nothing was ever going to change. And so when I started the business, I probably on paper, if you looked at who I was and what my life was like at the time, I probably wasn't the typical person who should have said yes to another, business or anything, because at the time I was a mom of two young little kids. 4 and 2, and I was pregnant with my third. So I was already, super busy. I was a mom, but then also my husband worked away at the time. So he was gone most of the time, like 2 weeks at a time. So I was by myself, and I also had my own salon and did hair and lashes as well. So it's so crazy because when I look back at that time in my life, it's like it never existed. It's a sin to think that, but it's like it never even existed because I rushed through all of it. I rushed through every single day, evening, weekends that I had. I I remember like everything was just always like, okay, get up, make sure that the kids eat breakfast, be the mom, be with them, be pregnant at the same time, then rush them to supper, make sure that somebody's here in the evening for me to go downstairs and in the salon and do hair, do lashes, then rush back upstairs to tell them good night. Half the time it wasn't even me really putting them to bed because I was usually doing hair really late. I'm a very independent person. I'm very ambitious. And I always wanted to have my own thing, my own money. So even though my husband was doing pretty good, and you would say, you know, you don't have to do this, right? Like if it's too much, like it's fine. And I was like, nope, not a chance. I want my own thing. But I ran into exhaustion really quickly because it was a lot. And every time he would be home from work, I would use him to be with the kids so that I could go and do my work. Because when you have clients, you can't just avoid work. Like you have to keep up with your schedule. And another thing that I want to touch on about this is that's so cool about Monat and the business now is that back then when I had my own salon, I also had inventory and I had to buy a lot of products. And it cost me a lot of money to do that and put products in my shelves. So I didn't have a choice but have clients to come in and try to get to sell my products because that money came out of my pockets and I had to make that back. So that was a big stress. So when he would be home, it would be, okay, daddy, you're with the kids, I'm going to work. And we literally barely had ever any family time. And so, and you guys, the money that I made was just enough to pay bills. Like it wasn't even living. I wasn't even enjoying my life, even though I was making that money. Like I literally wasn't even living. It was just like, you know, surviving mode all of the time. So rushing through time, surviving, paying bills, helping him pay whatever. So it wasn't enjoyable at all. And so when I started this and I decided to join the business, it's because I was really in a crisis. I wasn't doing well. Like I was exhausted. I had no time. I had no money of my own to really, you know, spoil my children, pay for traveling if we wanted to go on a little trip, and just like, or even just for myself, like the little things like getting your hair done, getting your nails done, like all those things I could never I could never just decide to do, you know, and that was difficult as a very independent person. So when I decided to do this, it was truly because I felt like it was the perfect vehicle and the perfect solution for me to do something different and to change my own situation. And the best part about it was that even though I didn't really have a lot of money to invest in anything, the product pack was very affordable. So it wasn't too stressful for me because, okay, it's like, you know, everybody can find that type of money. And also there's nothing scary about it because there are no risks. And in my opinion, if you're in a situation where you're not 100% happy or you feel like something needs to change, there is nothing better than an opportunity that can offer you a better life and better more security, really, for with no risk attached. And so when I decided to do this, it just made sense. And so no, nobody told me the right thing, nobody convinced me, but you know what, I was so convinced in my own situation and the things that I wanted to change myself, that even if it was the opposite and somebody tried to convince me to not do it, I still would have done it. No one was ever going to convince me not to do it, because when I looked at what Monat could offer me and what my life was at the time, it made so much sense, because I said, what do I have to lose? I want to have more time. And the mistake that a lot of us make is that we think there's going to be the perfect time and there's going to be the perfect day to do it and the perfect day to just click submit. Maybe we'll all of a sudden have enough money in our bank account to push accept. Maybe we'll all of a sudden have a month off of whatever work or something, and it will make sense for us to do it then. No, the truth is if you don't have time right now and you're struggling with money, you're still going to be in that same situation in a few months if you don't change anything. And so I kept thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, you know, when is it really going to be the best time for me to do this? And my husband was like, you know when the best time will be? And I was like, what? And I was like, oh no, what's he going to say? And he was like, the time you're going to decide that you want to do this because you're going to love what you do. Do you think you're going to love doing this? And I was like, I think it really makes sense for me. Like, I think I'm going to enjoy that. He was like, well, then it's the right time. And he actually invested in my product pack. He had no idea at all that I was going to retire him with this business a few months later and that he was never going to go back out west to work. But he just wanted me to be happy, and I wanted me to be happy. I wanted me to be happy, and I wasn't at the time, So I think if you're here tonight and you're questioning, is this for me? Could this work? The truth is you're never going to know until you really fully try it. And I'm not a scared person. Like, I wasn't scared to do it because I'm very stubborn. And if I try something, I will try my best and I will make it work. But still, even though I knew I would probably do okay, I never expected it to become what it has become and my life to change this much. So you truly never know. And you never will know until you actually try. And speaking about the products, like when I started the business, I was already using the products on myself. I was already a customer. I already tested the products on me. And like I said, I've had inventory of professional products in my salon before for years and tried many brands. And it was a struggle for me to even sell one shampoo. I did it because I needed to pay it back because I put so much money into my inventory, but it never felt comfortable for me to sell anything. Trust me, I'm not a salesperson at all. But when I believe in something, you're going to want it because I do this with a lot of intention and a lot of passion. And when I started using the products, I tried to convince myself at first that I was dreaming and that it wasn't doing the things it was doing, because my mom actually convinced me to try it at first. And my mom is not a stylist. She has nothing to do with hair at all. And actually, she always struggled with her hair. So the fact that she was telling me, the stylist, what I should be using, I was like, no, you're not doing this to me. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. But then I was like, I'm never going to know if I don't try it. And I started using it, and I'm like looking at my hair, and I was just telling her, like, okay, do you feel this about your hair? Like, is your hair so much like softer and like buttery? And is it like super shiny? She's like, yeah. So it was crazy because I wasn't that convinced at first, but when I started trying it, I was like, okay, no, it can't be doing this already. I can't be noticing that much change already, but I really was. And it's going to be 5 years now since I've started using the products. And I've been like, never in my life did I stick to one professional brand for that long. Never. I never even used all of the same professional brand ever. I would use a shampoo of this brand because I like their shampoo, and I'd use the conditioner of another brand because I like their conditioner. And masks and treatments, I'm sorry, but you guys, as a stylist, I wasn't even good at doing them because they never worked. I would put them on my hair and be like, okay, it smells good, but my hair wasn't any different. Now I'm obsessed with Monat's treatments. Every single mask, I have them all. The oil treatment, I do them every week. Like, that's not typical of me. I'm not a one thing type of person. I have been for 5 years with Monat, and it's for a reason. And I was convinced as a client before I even made money. So it's not about the money. It's not about the business. Like, I was a customer, and that's what sold me on it. So I just wanted to put that out there, because I know sometimes some stylists can doubt about it or have questions or whatever, but I truly believe that if any stylist took the time to try the products and really use them on themselves, they would easily be convinced that they're probably the best products they've ever used. And especially the fact that they're so pure. And it's so important nowadays that we learn about those things, using good things, like pure things that are not harmful to you, but also to your children. And like, for me, I feel so confident sharing these products to my family and the people that I know, because I know it's better for them. And that's what the job ultimately is about serving others and just giving them a better solution. And so I think, honestly, there couldn't be a better job for me. But when I started, I had no idea. I literally had no idea, but it started with the desire of taking the leap to make a change and really have faith that it was going to be the solution and also understanding that my actions were going to make the difference and putting in the work. And I'm being honest with you guys, there's nothing that's going to just, it's nothing is that easy. You have to put the time, but nothing is more worth it than doing it on your own time, to gain that freedom, that time freedom, and to also feel like you have gained so much security doing it. And it was the single best decision I've ever made for myself first, because that's how we are. We're a little bit selfish when we make decisions like this. At first, it's for us. It's because we want to change something about something we don't like in our life. But then it became the best decision and the best vehicle for my family to live a happy life. We never ever, like, my husband has been home now for over 4 years, and we get to do gym together. We go to my daughter's gym classes together. We go to hockey together. We drop the kids off at school in the morning together and then go grab a coffee. That's our life every single day. I mean, that is gold. That's gold. And for being somebody who never had time before and rushed through everything, I can tell you that was truthfully the biggest gift. And Monat offered me that, and it's just it's beautiful. Really, it's really beautiful. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't want to take too much of your time. Tat, you can, if you don't have any more questions for me specifically you want me to answer, you can go ahead and keep talking.
Okay, well, I will let, if anybody has questions, shoot them in there, and then we can circle back around so you can think on them. That if you're, especially if you're a guest, like, fire away. This is such like an easy time for you to get those ones answered that maybe you're nervous to ask the person who invited you here, or just get super real and super like get it out there. I absolutely love Jess's like story and all of those things, because I do see a lot of like myself in there as well. And I think that's why Jess is so great at what she does, is because like we can all see a little bit of ourselves in Jess. I was a lot like her in the sense where I was hardworking, I was tapped out time wise, right? Like mine was like, I was definitely looking for another way to make more money. I don't know if anyone else has ever felt that way, where you're like, if only there was like 28 hours in a day, right? Like if only I could just stretch the days a little longer, because like Jess, and I think like anybody on any of our teams who are really hustling, like I wasn't scared of hard work. That wasn't something that scared me. I wasn't scared of like, making sacrifices. I wasn't scared of like putting myself in the best positions to be successful, even if they scared me a little bit. That wasn't anything that held me back. I didn't actually have a lot of holdbacks. I'll be honest with you. Like I didn't have anything that was like a what if, other than finances for myself personally. I am a solo mom who, my daughter was 3 years old when I joined Monat, and we had been just doing it on our own since February 17th, actually 2012, was the day that my daughter's father left and never came back. So it's super weird. I didn't even put that together. That is today, 10 years ago. Kind of crazy. Wow. Okay. That just literally came to me, you guys. And now I'm like, whoa, okay. 10 years is crazy. Let me just tell you what can happen and change in your life in 10 years is absolutely wild. But I was looking for something because I was currently a night manager at a bar called Earl's. It's here in Sherwood Park. I was working that job. I was a massage therapist during the day, and I was also in school full time, and I had a 3-year-old. Okay. I always kind of feel guilty saying I had a 3-year-old because I felt like I never actually had her in my hands ever, right? Like it was never something that she was either at a day home or, with the nanny that I had hired to like watch her while I worked at the bar in the evenings. And then she was at the day home during the day while I was massaging, and I would see her for about a little bit in the mornings from about like 6:30 to like 7:30. And then at pickup time after to hand her off to someone else. That, you guys, freaking killed my soul. I was raised by a stay-at-home mom. I was raised by the mom that did the lunches for us to go to school. I was raised by the mom that had a home cooked meal on the table. For months, I didn't eat dinner with my daughter. I didn't eat lunch with my daughter. I would have breakfast in a bag for her to take to the day home, right? I knew I wanted to spend more time with her, but there was one thing that was really, really holding me back from that, was that we weren't even making ends meet with everything I was doing. Right? We weren't making ends meet. I didn't get child support. I still don't, but at that time it seemed to matter. But now it doesn't. I don't really care. So I was killing myself just to not make it. And that was hard. And I was looking at my days, you guys, and I'm like, I don't have time to take a second job or third job, sorry, or whatever it was at that time. I actually did it. Who would hire me? I'd be like, I can work 45 minutes here and 25 minutes here and maybe 15 minutes over here. Like, guys, there wasn't anything out there that was like that, until a girlfriend of mine showed me this business opportunity that was exactly that. It was exactly that. It was something that could go into my nooks and crannies. It was something that I could do between massage clients quickly, right? It was something I could go, and for the first time in my entire life, I was able to leverage my time and not spend my time, right? I was able to actually get the proper pay for how hard I work, because I get a lot out of an hour. I get a lot out of 15 minutes. I'm super intentional with my work. I'm super consistent, and I love to go and do it, no matter what it is. I've worked in the oil field. I've worked on the rigs. I've worked at a hotel. I have worked at a drugstore. I have worked at restaurants. Like, no matter what I did, I loved working because I loved being out there, being active, doing things and seeing, getting paid. So when I was sitting at that screen, where I'm sure everybody either has sat or is going to sit, hopefully sometime soon, looking at that accept button, I was sitting there and I was like, sitting there, and get this, I was like, oh my gosh, could you imagine what it would be like to just pay my bills on time? Like, you guys, that was my goal. That was like, that was something, and I want you to understand, that was something I would absolutely run through a freaking brick wall to achieve, because you don't understand the lack of peace of mind you have when your bills are always late. You don't understand that when you're balancing things, you don't get to rest here, right? Me, I was personally like, oh my gosh, could you imagine if I just got to like take my tips and they didn't have to instantly be deposited that night into the bank to make a bill payment the next morning? Like, if just simply the fact that I wouldn't have to make an additional stop on my way home at 3 o'clock in the morning because it wasn't necessary. That was like, I was like, oh my gosh, that is massive. That is huge. Quickly. And I'm going to share this part with you guys because our compensation plan is made for you to see success and to see results right away. Okay. And it's not even like, when I joined 6.5 years ago, it wasn't as good as it is now. I'll be honest with you. Like, what you get every day as a market partner was my like smart start, which we call jump start. So you have it so good right now. I get so jealous of someone starting their business like that because it's so special. But I stepped in, and this was the first time I ever realized that I was not getting paid what I was worth anywhere else. I realized wholeheartedly I was building other people's empires. My work ethic, my drive was building and making other people rich, but not me. I was still not making ends meet, but I was so good at working hard. And I'm going to tell you, you've heard it over and over again, but like, hard work is going to beat talent every single time. Right? So I was not your poster girl for selling beauty products at all. Look at me right now. This is me 24/7. I have great hair. You would never know it because it's mostly always up in a mom bun. And I wore it like this before I was even a mom. Like, that's just me. I am not a makeup wearer. I am not any of those things that you people are counting themselves out of this opportunity because you think you don't fit into this mold. And what you have to understand is that there is no mold. There's one requirement: working hard, right? And you're going to beat anybody else all the time when you work hard, right? But what you're going to realize is that all you need to do in this business is to beat yourself, to beat your own mindset, and to start allowing yourself to know that you are worth it. That was a big part, is that I did discover that right away. As soon as I started to see that, oh my gosh, I choose my time, I choose my hours, And this was creating more freedom for me than any other thing in the world. Right. And I wasn't getting paid bazillions of dollars because that's what I didn't need that to free me. But I want to share with you here that when you jump in, that you're not coming in. And I think this is the misconception a lot of people have, is you're not coming in to jump into people's DMs and be a hey girl. That's not what you're jumping in to do. You're not jumping in to go and convince people. You are jumping in, you are pushing accept to go on your own personal journey and let people watch and join you when they are ready. Right? The biggest thing is to invite people along on that journey. You're not, I mean, I know any of us that take this industry very seriously, we actually do not like the people that are hey girls, because they make it really hard and they make people get turned off who would be so good at this, thinking that's what they would have to do. Right? That's one thing that I just really want to get across to you guys, is that when you jump in, my biggest advice to you, and this is what I did, because people will always ask me, Kat, how did you grow so quickly? Right? Like, how did you make this happen so quickly? I was able to retire myself, you guys, completely out of all of the work and fully into my Monat business in 4 months. Right? I'm a single income home with a dependent. I don't have another income coming in, and I was able to have that much security in this in 4 months. Okay. And why was that? Well, number one, I had an extreme sense of urgency that I needed to make sure the people that I loved and cared about the most in the world knew about this right away. I did not care what they said. I needed to know. And anyone who knows me knows this is exactly the energy and the swagger I had with it, because I was like, no, like, listen, I'm going to be good at this. Like this, I'm going to be good at this. And I'm only asking you really right now so that 6 months or a year from now, you can't be mad at me that I didn't ask you. Right? That's why I'm asking you. If you want to come along, that's great. But you have to be so ready to forge your own path. You really do. You have to be ready to step out and be a little different. Right? So many people think that they're going to change their lives by being like everyone else. And that's not going to happen. Right? And I stepped out of that. And I suggest that if you are thinking about this, you need to, number one, make a declared statement. That the day you push accept is the day that you are stepping out. You are going to let everyone else know you are stepping out, and they're either with you or they can watch you. Right? Because you're doing it. That's what I did. And guess what? I'll be also really honest with you. Guess what happened? A lot of people decided to watch. Okay. It wasn't like a fairy tale story where Kat went to like 100 people and was like, hey, people come and be me. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. No, it was like, ha ha ha, don't waste too much money. Ha ha ha. Those things never work. Ha ha ha. Shampoo. What? Like there was a lot of that, but I chose to focus on the ones who said yes. Right. I chose to run with those ones that said yes. And I chose to help while I was installing that belief in myself. I chose to help install belief in others that said yes. I didn't pay mind to the other people. So when you step in and you look at this compensation plan, please understand that this is a compensation plan that is built on quality of people over quantity. People who want to be here, who want to work. If people do not want to work, guess what? We have a beautiful customer program that they can go into. They want to just use the products and they want to, that sort of thing. There's a customer program. So don't feel like you have to be out there bringing everybody in and selling these hopes and dreams. You are not selling hopes and dreams. Okay. You are selling an opportunity that is proven, right? By September, we'll be rolling over $100 million earners in 7 years. Okay. That's special. Okay. That's proven. That's proven right there. Does everyone do it? No, because not everyone is willing to forge a different path, but you can make that decision today for that to be you. And I want to empower you in that. And I want you to understand that when you're combining yourself with a company that has its own distribution in the markets that it serves, right? We are international. We are a company that has right from research and development right to when it goes and leaves our warehouses, it's touched by Monat. Right? So you are, like Jess said, you are getting the purest, best products for the lowest price. There is no other cost comparison that's going to beat us. I firmly believe that there. And like Jess, I was like a product junkie before. I was like, must have had commitment issues. I couldn't stay faithful to one shampoo brand forever. And I'm 6.5 years in on one little brand there, right? That's a big deal. And the one big part that really got me in this was that when I learned about the family that owns money, that is the corporate part of money, they're a family. Okay. They are a family, and it actually is living and breathing throughout our entire company. And it's something that I'm not going to try to overly explain because you don't get it till you're here. I'll be honest with you. Like, I could try to describe it to you in a million different ways, but you won't get it till you're here. That people truly care about you. Jess and I, just so you know, have absolutely no financial benefit in working together and doing things together. But like, do I freaking cheer loud when Jess wins? Yes. Do I want to see her win? Yes. That is the culture that family creates, right? And that comes right from the top there. You're not going to find, I personally believe, you're not going to find a better opportunity if you are like me, and maybe like Jess, where you're looking for something to fit into nooks and crannies. You're looking for something that is going to reward you for hard work. You're looking for something that is not going to sit there and determine what you are worth. It's going to put that back on you. You are going to make the decision of what you're worth. You're going to be in the driver's seat for that. So that's all I have for you guys here. I hope that if you have any questions, it can be anything, pop them in the there, or you can totally unmute yourself too. You're more than welcome to do that if you are wanting to, but we'll give it like a couple seconds here if we see some questions pop up. Or
thanks, Kat. That was awesome. I love hearing your story, and it's always so amazing to listen to, you know, a mom who's done this. Like, again, you could have had so many excuses not to do it, and you just chose to go for it. And I think that's just amazing. That's so brave. And I think a lot of women are so brave, but they just hold themselves back. Mm-hmm. And they have so much potential to become something. And what I also love about this business that I just want to share is that you don't have to ever worry about, you know, changing anyone's habits. You don't change anyone's values. You're just literally giving them a little bit of a solution to something that they might need help with. And it's not scary or it's not embarrassing to do that. You're just literally offering something better. That's it. But everyone will wash their hair. Everybody washes their hair and their face. So you're just offering them something better that they're already doing anyways. That's why this business is different than a lot of different business models, is because people are doing this anyways. Mm-hmm. They're doing this. So you're going to just go out there and be you and use this and share your experience as you move on. And people are going to just look at you, and they'll, like Kat said, they'll want to do this when they're ready. And that's what you're going to do. You're not going to push anything on anyone. You're not going to try to convince anybody. You have the solution. Mm-hmm. I mean, what value does it have to somebody else? When people message me and ask me about the products or the business, I ask them literally, like, what's the value for you? Like, what do the results mean to you? What are you willing to put out there to get it? Because more people than you think care about their hair and their skin and also their future. Mm-hmm. A lot of people care about it. It's just that sometimes they just don't even know what's available, and we're here to just show them what's available, and that's all it is. Mm-hmm. Literally.
I love that, how you put that, where it's just like, you're not making a lifestyle change on anyone. That's not what we're doing. If I had like one thing, and maybe Jess, you can pop in with after, is like one piece of advice for someone who's thinking about it, is like, don't be like me and jump in on something when you have to. Mm-hmm. When you get to make that choice to go all in on yourself. So many times I'm like, oh, what would I have done if I got the choice? I didn't feel like there was a choice in the time. I don't know if you felt like that too, Jess, where it was like something had to change, and I had pushed my own self mentally and financially into a place where I had to do something. But you might be sitting where you get to do something. Yeah. Like, you get to make the choice.
But that's the thing. And you just don't know what it's going to do for you until you're in it. And for me, it's the finances are amazing, because I could have went for years and years and years of university, and I've never would have made what I make with this business in just 4 years. But the biggest thing was being so alone as a mom when my husband was gone and the kids would be napping, and I'd be sitting on the couch feeling so helpless and just kind of like, Where am I heading? Where's my life going? What am I doing? Like, and that was so lonely to me. And now having the community of women who just choose to be better, choose to do more, and want to be inspiring and motivating, like that's like you're giving me life. When I got this, I was like, that's what I was missing. But I never knew. I thought I was like antisocial. I thought I hated people. And now I'm like, I love people, you know.
There's a question here for you, Jess, that says, what do you say to a hairstylist who wants to join, but they're worried about their job since they are working in a salon and getting a wage and having to use the salon products?
Well, that's a very touchy subject, because obviously if you're working for somebody else and you're under a certain contract, it is what it is, and you have to respect that, and you have to be respectful. But again, what's the value in it to you? Like, what is what you're getting from that salon? And what, okay, if I can put it this way, is that if you're 100% happy where you are in the salon that you're at right now, and that you find that you're paid well for the effort that you're putting in, then that's great. And I think you should really respect the contract you're under, because that's just how it is. You want to be a respectful person. But if you're not there and you're considering something else because you're not 100% happy with something, then my suggestion to you would be to just maybe think about the fact that you can find another job at a lot of different salons. You can be a hairstylist for yourself if you want. You can be a hairstylist anywhere else. A business opportunity like this one, that's this new, that has that much value and proven to work, that really doesn't come by often, actually very rarely. So is it worth for you to miss out on this, for what you have right now that might not be really perfect? I don't know, but that's just, for me, it would just be like, what is it worth to you? What's the job worth to you? And what is this business worth to you? And again, obviously you can't sell products that are not sold in your salon if you work for somebody else. That you would just cause yourself so much stress, because that they would be upset with you, and you don't want that. But nothing is holding you back and holding you there. You can make that decision. You just have to decide if you're ready to do it. But I do have a lot of people who work from home, and on their social media, they talk about Monat, but then when they go to work at the salon, they work for the other salon, and they might not really promote the salon's product, but they don't also share Monat in their chair because, they're working for somebody else. So that's also a decision you can make, but it's really up to you.
I like that. And I really like how you said, like, you really kept it, Jess, where it's like, at the end of the day, you still have to be a good person, right?
Yeah, totally.
You do. And that's what it all lies on. If you are a good person, you can work hard.
Another thing about that is like being a good person. Like, even me, I am a stylist and I have background in it, and I'm obsessed with Monat, but I still never push Monat on any other stylist, not even my stylist friends, because that's just not my place, and I'm not that person. And I will not either talk bad about the things that they're sharing. My focus is just helping you do better and get better results. And if it means that you're going to use my products to get it, to achieve it, that's great. But if another stylist isn't here and isn't, ready to do this with me, then I'm not here to convince them, And so I just let it go, and I let things happen, and just be different. Mm-hmm. And if you hear people who are stylists who talk bad about Monat, it just know that it's because they feel threatened. Mm-hmm. They feel threatened about what the products can do, and don't start a war. Just let them, because they haven't tried yet. They don't know, and that's okay. But don't ever feel the pressure as a person who joins the business. Don't ever feel pressured to be. You don't have to go to stylists and talk about the products to them. You don't have to get stylists on your team. You can do very well with women who don't have background in styling. Like really, you're going to be taught everything you need to know. And I'm going to really, again, be super honest, but I've gone to school for a long time to be a stylist. And you guys, I have not learned anything about products, nothing, while I was in school. So if a stylist tries to tell you that you can't promote hair care products because you're not a stylist, I'm going to tell you, you can absolutely do this, because I have never learned so much about products in my entire hairstyling career. I've learned everything that I know about that stuff doing Monat. So no stylist will tell me that there are some people not qualified to do this. You might not be qualified yet because you don't know what the products are, but you will be qualified once you get started, because you'll learn. Everybody can learn.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like a testament to that, because I'm not a stylist. I am not like, that's not what even my passion point was in hair. Right.
Yeah.
And I honestly, like, my passion point was not hair. I'll be honest. Like, I didn't like wake up one morning and be like, gosh, I wish there was a company I could sell shampoo for. Like, that wasn't what my thing was. I'm stupidly passionate about growth in myself. First was where it started. And now I'm like addicted to watching other people grow, and not being necessarily being the reason that they are, but I do take a lot of pride in being a catalyst for growth, right? I do take a lot of pride, and you should too, anybody on here, that you have the ability to be that catalyst for change in other people's lives too, right? That one, because I look at it as there is a cat out there, right? There is another cat out there who, you know, no one ever asked me to do a direct selling company, right? No one ever approached me about starting my own business. No one ever did anything like that. And little did I know that it was going to be the place that my zone of genius was in. Little did I know that it was going to fill my cup so much. And so I'm out there always talking and looking for the next cat who doesn't even know how great they are yet. They don't get it. They don't understand it, because just like Jess is saying with the product side, you might not know all of the things yet, but you will learn them, right? With that. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Jess, for your time tonight. Thank you for coming and hanging out. I get to see Jess on Sunday, so that's really exciting. We're gonna be meeting in Miami here shortly. I know, I'm like, it's gonna be -20 here tomorrow, so I'm really excited about Miami. But it's gonna be great. It's gonna be so awesome. Yeah, but you guys, the person who sent you here, ask them the questions. If they don't know the answer, they're going to find someone who does know the answer. So never be scared to ask any question that you have. And just don't spend another day doubting yourself. Don't spend another day thinking, what if, right? Just give it a shot, right? Just give it a go. That's what I was like. What do you got to lose? Absolutely nothing. Right. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. We will chat with you all later, and bye, Jess.